back with another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys are having a great week, great day, wherever you are and whatever day it is for you. It is actually Thursday. Usually we come at you from a Friday, but today is Thursday. So we're bringing a little bit different energy to you. And it is nice and sunny here in Seattle. So hopefully wherever you guys are, it is sunny there as well. This is going to be a good episode because we have Rod Cleef with us on the podcast. Rod has a ton of experience. If you guys have been listening to my podcast since 2021, we actually figured out, then you've listened to Rod's story before. But he's bought over 2,000 units. He lost over $50 million in 2008 and built back up from there. So there's a lot of experience in both the highs and the lows to go into here. I'm super excited to jump into this. Rod, thanks for hopping on.
Oh, it's good to see you again, brother. We're just talking about how fast time is moving, and you thought it was, we had met more recently, and it's literally been 5 freaking years.
Yeah, I said, didn't we do this last year? And
yeah,
it was actually 5 years.
And I think when we first talked, and my podcast was just getting rolling, and now I'm pushing 30 million downloads, and it's pretty much the largest in the multifamily space, which is just mind blowing to me. But let's have some fun, brother. I'm looking forward to this.
That's awesome. I love it. The format here on the podcast, it has stayed the same. We like to start with stories. It's been over 5 years since you've been on, so we're going to rehash that. And I love your story.
If you heard me before, I'm sorry, you'll have to suffer through it again, but I'll be brief. So I'm a Dutch immigrant, think windmills and wooden shoes, and immigrated to this country when I was 6 years old with my brother, Albert, my mother's Vansha. Ended up in Denver, Colorado, and we didn't have much. We really struggled growing up. And I remember, we literally ate expired food. We shopped at an expired food store, true story. They had it back then. Drank powdered milk with our cereal in the morning because it was cheaper than real milk. And trust me, it sounds better than it is. And I wore hand-me-down clothes from the Goodwill and the Salvation Army all the way through junior high school till finally when I was 14, I lied about my age, told them I was 15 because I was tall so I could get a job at Burger King flipping burgers so I could buy my own clothes. Now, I'm sure, there are people listening had it harder than I did, maybe even have it harder now with all the craziness, but I knew I wanted more. And luckily, my mom had an incredible work ethic. So she babysat kids so we'd have enough money to eat. And with her babysitting money, she was a bit of an entrepreneur. And she actually invested in the stock market successfully and also in real estate. Her first real estate acquisition was a house right across the street. She bought from a family named the Jewels when I was about 14 for 30 grand. Then when I was 17, she told me she'd made $20,000 in her sleep, that she hadn't done anything, but the property gone up 20 grand. I'm like, what? This was when 20 grand was a lot of money, mind you. We're talking 1977. Yeah. And I'm like, you made 20 grand, you didn't do anything? Screw college, I'm getting into real estate. So I went and got into real estate, and I'm still living at home. My first year I made about 8 grand. My second year, maybe 10 grand. But my third year, I made over $100,000, which back in 1980 was some pretty decent money. So what happened between year 2 and year 3 to cause me to 10x my income? Well, what happened was I was working for a guy. I was actually had gotten my broker's license in real estate. I was working for another broker. I was smart enough to go work for somebody rather than trying to do it myself. And he taught me about the importance of mindset and psychology, and how really 80 to 90% of your success in anything is your mindset and psychology. And so, fast forward to today, like you said, I've owned over 2,000 houses. Actually, they weren't units. I've owned 2,000 houses I rented long-term. I own thousands of apartment units now, quite a few more than that. And in 2006, my net worth went up $17 million while I slept. And you might say, wow. And I said, wow. And I got a head so big, I could barely fit it through a door. I thought I was a freaking real estate god. And when that happens, God of the universe will give you a nice little smack. Well, that was 2008. I lost 50 million conservatively in 2008 and 9. And so what I'm known for talking about is the mindset it took to have that to lose in the first place. And then maybe even more importantly, the mindset it took to recover from losing it. We can certainly talk about that a little bit if you want, or, we can get right into the state of the market, which is kind of crazy right now in my space. So,
yeah, it is. I do want to touch just briefly on that because so many times when I hear people that are just getting started out, or maybe they have a portfolio or a house or two, they run into, to them, what seems an insurmountable obstacle, and insurmountable to them. It's a crisis, like maybe a water heater breaks or something hits the, something happens, whatever it is, and it costs money, and they feel like they've ruined their chances and they're screwed. But that is never the case, and it never has been the case. And you can always bounce back from incredible failure, and you're the case. And so why don't you just tell me a little bit, just give me a high
Sure,
level on
sure.
the
Sure.
mindset.
By the way, if you know anybody that lost more than 50 million, please let me know, because that'll just make me feel better about myself. But listen, and by the way, if you're listening and you haven't gotten started yet, you're in a W-2 job, you might even like the job. Maybe you're comfortable. Here's the problem. We know the comfort zone's a nice, warm place. And we also know nothing freaking grows there, right? And so, and I got to tell you, let me digress for just a moment. I don't know if you heard, I don't know if you heard Elon Musk on Joe Rogan's podcast, his most recent interview on Joe Rogan. If you're in a job where you sit in front of a computer, your job is likely going away very quickly. Like literally it could be in the next couple of years. And so, I'm not trying to scare you, but very often in life we have to reinvent ourselves. And I'm actually reinventing myself right now, because multifamily is I enjoy it, but I don't love it as much as I used to. And so I'm getting into senior housing as well now. And so I'm still doing multifamily, but I guess I'm using me as an example there. But I'm going to be I'm going to hit senior housing really hard. We can talk about that why in a minute. But you may have to reinvent yourself if that's you. If you're an IT, for example, if you're a programmer, for example, candidly, even believe it or not, even doctors. Robotics is going to take over surgery and things like that. I mean, it's crazy how fast it's happening. And so, if there's ever a time to get into a side hustle, it is right freaking now. If that's you, I'm not trying to scare you. And there's lots of incredible opportunities. There's 10,000 people a day turning 65 in this country, and a lot of them own businesses. So there's an opportunity to buy businesses. Of course, real estate. I teach multifamily. I teach every asset class at this point now, by the way, all commercial real estate. So, get your butt to one of my boot camps. But the bottom line is, if that's you, don't wait for the freaking shoe to drop, is my point. Okay. So anyway, I digressed for a minute there. So if you know you want more, if you know you and your family deserve more, the strategies that I utilized to recover from losing $50 million are the same ones you'd use to get started. First thing, it starts with knowing what the hell you want. You got to do your goals. And, if you come to one of my boot camps, the first thing we do is goal setting on steroids, because that's how you create that burning desire, that hunger to get uncomfortable, to push yourself, to push through fear, to push through limiting beliefs, to actually freaking go do it. So it starts with goals. So, that's why we do that the first thing in my boot camps. And by the way, even if you're not interested in real estate, in my link tree, I do a goal setting workshop. It's free. I'm not going to try to sell you anything. If you go to rodslinks.com, at the bottom is my goal setting workshop. There's a guide you can download. You know this, Gabe. People spend more time planning a freaking Christmas party than they do designing their lives. Doing your goals is designing your freaking life. So go do it. Even if you're not interested in real estate, go do it. And have your kids do it. If they're over 10 years old, have your spouse do it. Make sure you're aligned on your goals. So it starts
And
there.
I remember when we spoke last time, you broke it down in the way that I hadn't heard it broken down before, how you deal with your goals.
I used to expand on the goal setting. Just come do it. But yeah, I teach you, to determine the why, because it's the why that drives you. That's probably what you recall, Gabe, right?
Well, no, you were because you had broken it down into things you wanted to be, things you wanted to
Be,
have.
do, and have. Yeah, everything.
Yeah, be, do, and have. Yeah. And I'd never heard it phrased that way, and I really liked that.
Yeah.
Because there material things are things that can motivate you, and so
sure,
most people say only.
But doing things for other people will motivate you.
Yep.
Doing things, travel will motivate you.
Yep.
Learning new things will motivate you. So yeah, we get into all that. But again, if you go to Rod's links, even if you're not interested in attending one of my boot camps, then go to Rod's links and do the goal setting. Have your kids do it. Have your spouse do it. Then the next
and I would suggest people listening, I would suggest you guys do that, because it was really good. You can listen to the earlier recording that we did with Rod, although that was at the very beginning of my podcast career, and the recording quality was not as good. And so I would definitely recommend actually joining.
It's only an hour, for God's sakes. You spend that much time Christmas shopping, or birthday shopping, whatever, planning a party. Go design your life. You'll love it. You'll leave so freaking motivated, you'll be coming out of your skin. But then the next piece is you got to make a decision. Okay. You got to decide, okay, enough's enough. I'm going to, like when I lost everything, first thing I did was reassociate with my goals. And then I crawled out from under the rock I was hiding under for a few months, said, okay, get off your freaking pity party and go make something happen. Make a decision. Now, the Latin root for the word decision means to cut off. Okay.
Oh.
It doesn't mean dip your toe in the water. It doesn't mean 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I mean, a great analogy for a decision. If you're going to attack the island in battle, you burn your ships because you're taking their damn ships home. That's a decision. Okay. But you got to make that decision. And then you got to take the first step. You know, Dr. Martin Luther King said, you take that first step in faith, the next step will be revealed. And you know, a lot of people in my business are analytical. And if that's you and you're listening, I love you and you're some of the most successful people in our business. But I also know how you have to check off every single freaking box before you make a move. And if that's you, it's okay. But I want to give you an analogy. And the analogy is you can drive all the way across the United States at night with your headlight only seeing 50 feet in front of you. You know you can make it. You know other people have made it before you. You may have obstacles, but you know it can be done. It's the same way with this or candidly any business. But you're not going to see the whole path. You just gotta trust and have some faith and take freaking action. Because I'm going to tell you, you know, if you're analytical, I know you may fear failure. I'm going to tell you, fear regret. Don't fear freaking failure. Fear being in the same place you are right now a year or two from now, unless you absolutely love where you are right now. You know, there was this nurse in Australia. I may have mentioned that the last time we interviewed. Her name was Bronnie Ware. She was a hospice nurse. Okay, so she took care of patients when they were about to die. And she asked them a question, Gabe. The question was, do you have any regrets? And she wrote a book about it. It's like a national bestseller, something like The 5 Regrets of Dying or something like that. Number one regret was not living the life I could have lived, living someone else's life, not doing what I know I'm capable of. Fear that. Don't fear failure. I'll tell you something. I call my failures seminars because they're only a failure. You don't get your ass back up. You don't get the lesson, right? Well, I have built 29 businesses so far in my career. I was shocked when I counted. You name it. I've done everything. Gold buying, which I wish I was in right now. I had a couple gold buying stores. You name it. I won't bore you with all of them, but several worth tens of millions of dollars. Most were spectacular, flaming seminars. Okay, we fail our way to success, guys. So don't fear failure. Fear again.
I've
fear
done
regret.
that plenty of times too, and but it's totally true because you don't know whenever you start something, you don't have certainty that it will succeed, but you have to start it anyways, and eventually something will work out. You just need to keep going.
Listen,
keep moving forward.
You build your competence. It starts with competence. So if you're going to do a side hustle, for God's sakes, learn it. Okay. If it's multifamily, get your ass to my boot camp. If it's, buying businesses, go learn that. If it's trading, whatever it is, there's a lot of opportunity and I think we could be heading for a bit of a meltdown economically, globally, based on what I'm seeing with the big banks rushing into gold. It's amazing what's happened with gold. Good God. I bought it at 1,500. It's at 5,000 now. It's just crazy.
So I kind of want to pause on that.
Okay.
Global meltdown. I haven't heard that severity of language.
I got to tell you, I try not to be a doom and gloomer. I've had doom and gloomers on my podcast, people like, oh God, I'm going to draw a blank. Peter Schiff, Harry Dent, guys that have been talking about a crash. And well, Harry Dent, if I'd listened to him, he absolutely called the 2008 crash. And they're all like, hey, it's about to happen. We got $38 trillion in debt. The Supreme Court hasn't ruled on that appellate decision taking away Trump's tariffs. And I'm going to tell you, if they uphold that, I think we're in deep shit because that's how we are. That's the only way I can see us minimizing that national debt that we have is through tariffs. The other countries have been screwing us for decades. I get a lot of hate when I talk about this online, but the anti-Trumpers. But the bottom line is,
I'm not educated enough to have an opinion on those. But
yeah, okay, fair enough. But I'm going to tell you, I hope it doesn't happen because it'll be very sobering. But you can't keep printing freaking money. Okay, look at countries like Venezuela. At some point the piper's got to get paid, and a lot of there's a lot of countries are selling their U.S. treasuries, which used to be the gold standard for plug your money, and billions, tens of billions are being sold right now by China, by these other BRIC nations. And so, listen, I pray to God it doesn't happen. The dollar is still the number one standard, but it's losing money every single day because they're printing money every single day. And so, at some point, it's going to give. And when it does, God help us, because it's, maybe AI will help with it. Who knows? Yeah. But
Well,
I don't want to scare anybody. I just want to open eyes to, here's what's possible. How do you protect yourself with hard assets, gold, real estate, businesses that produce cash flow? Because if you're just in cash, I'm buying more gold today. Actually, literally, I'm wiring money after this call. I've got it. I just moved it, and I'm wiring. I'm gonna pay freaking $5,000 an ounce to buy some gold, just
my
because I believe it's going to continue going up.
a
And
little
of course, I've got money on the
side.
sidelines to buy real estate, because we're seeing some great deals in real estate right now. I'll give you an
Well,
example. I got
and
a
I
200
do
unit.
want to pivot
Okay.
into that one as well. A little side
Okay.
story on the gold comment. My uncle, he bought little gold coins for everybody
Uh-huh.
in the family,
I,
and
I
he
have
said
I
that
have
between the
I
time that
have
he
a ton
bought
of
it
them.
and when he gave it to everybody as the Christmas present, it went up in value $500 an ounce, and he was
Yep.
just like, "I got an additional $500 there." So it is crazy
Oh,
how much it is increasing and how
dude,
quickly it
it's
is.
more than that. I paid 1,500. It's 5,000 an
Yeah,
ounce right now.
that's
Okay.
crazy.
I mean, I've got a bunch of it down in a vault in Sarasota here, and it's been really nice. But anyway,
Well,
multifamily. So I have a 200 unit asset in San Antonio. I have a couple of them assets there, but one of them's 200 units. The one next door is 300 and some units. Okay, it sold for 43 million in 22. The bank now owns it. It's down to 28. We're not even interested unless it gets to 24. 43 to 24. That's what's out there right now. Okay.
how? Oh, because of
Because of interest
because of their
rates. It just
interest
doesn't
rate.
make sense.
Yeah,
And rents have
they
dropped and
probably got
expenses
a
have gone up,
two or three
you know.
percent. Yeah,
Right.
okay,
So
makes
it's
sense.
because of the interest rates and the expense ratios. I used to teach a 50% expense ratio. It's 60 now.
Mm,
So, your expenses, all income on all the income on the property, subtracted by property related expenses without debt, it's 60% now. So,
interesting.
those things are impacting the multifamily space. But so there are screaming
So
deals coming. And again,
on
I
that
talk
topic,
about doom and gloom, but
yeah, I want to pivot a little bit into because this is a short podcast, and I want to talk a
okay.
little bit about senior housing, why you're pivoting into
Okay.
that, why that is now your focus.
Because there's
Multifamily
because
has been
there's
the hottest thing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
because there's 10,000 people a day turning 65 in this country. I just turned 66. So I'll buy one for
you
myself.
know.
Yeah, so I bought my first assisted living facility in Pittsburgh, which surprised me because that's not a market I would normally go into. But I'm just doing the real estate piece. I'm not taking care of grandma. We've got a really good operator that's seasoned and proven, that's doing that piece. And there's a huge shortage of beds, and so it's really going to hit in 10 years. I mean, when people start turning 70, 10,000 people a day start turning 75, holy crap. And so and the cost to build these is like 200 to 250 a bed. We're able to buy them for sub 100 a bed. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And so there's a real opportunity, and the returns are fantastic. So I'm very excited about it. I'm teaching it now. So,
Yeah, so go just like one layer down into your underwriting and what you're looking for when you look at these. Are you
sure,
looking for?
sure. Well, the big thing in the underwriting is you want to look at the average home price in the area. You want to look at the age demographic in the area. You want to of course you look at absorption. What the competition looks like. But the other big thing is the ability to hire staff. Um, because
Yes.
these jobs don't pay the greatest. And so one of the things that I did in my analysis of this operator was and I've owned big companies. I've had 100, well, big in my view, moderately, 100 employees, for example, not huge, but I'm really big on culture, for example. I'm really big on with the employees, how do you educate them continually? How do you praise them? How do you validate them? How do you empower them? How do you keep them happy? Because that's more important than the money. And so I was really impressed with the answers I got from this particular operator. The proof's in the pudding. We'll see how they do. And I'm going to a conference in Nashville here in a couple of months, and we're going to interview other operators just to see, just to hedge our bets.
Well, I also want to kind of hover on that specific tactic that you use is you chose an asset class and then you went out and you found an operator that you can partner with to do
Mhm.
the work
Yeah,
to run the business.
it's a very detail oriented, litigious you know, I don't want someone abused. I don't want someone not taken care. I mean, I happen to love the elderly. Okay. And I wouldn't, don't get into the business unless you do. And I believe that. I actually got my assisted living director's license in 2007 in Florida because I was going to get into it back then. And then
Oh,
of course
wow.
my world collapsed in '08. And so I lost it. But that's how long I've been threatening to do this. Okay.
So
So
do you have to have additional licenses to just to buy the
no,
facilities?
no, not
No.
at all.
Okay.
No, the operator is the one that gets licensed, but that's how much I believed in this
Mm,
industry. And I went and spent a 3-day class and I could run an ALF in Florida back then. I'd
mm,
let it go. But the point is, I do believe you should love the elderly if you're going to get into this business, not do it for the money.
yeah.
And I happen to love children and love the elderly. So, but the returns are fantastic, man. They're really good. And so, very excited about it. But again, like anything, it's a business. You got to somebody's got to run that business effectively, and there's quite a few moving parts, a lot more than a multifamily apartment complex. I mean, that's a business too. Don't get me wrong. You pay 20-30 million for an apartment complex. It's a freaking business. And, you do a business plan and, with sales, marketing, operations, all of that. But senior housing has got a more complex component. You've got to line out the food. You've got to have the food approved. You've got to have a fire exit plan. You've got to have emergency power in case something goes wrong, an evacuation plan. There's just
And
so
so
many little pieces.
you are
Activity
buying these
director.
as assisted living facilities, not buying something and then converting it into that, correct? That
No,
is
I'm not. Well, who knows? Maybe down the road. But this was an existing facility that was empty. A lot of them died in COVID, unfortunately.
mm,
And I'm
oh, yeah.
wrong terminology. A lot of people died in COVID, and a lot of these facilities suffered and died as a result of that. And so
Yeah.
there's an opportunity to snap those up, which is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And
That makes sense.
if somebody's listening and has not and is interested, just ping me on Rod's links or text the word links to 72345. That's where my goal setting is, and you can ping me there and we can
Okay.
chat if you've got an interest in looking at this. But
Perfect.
I mean, listen, it's like if you look at the baby boomers, it's like I hate to use this analogy, but it's the best one. If you're looking at, it's like a rat going through a snake when you look at a population demographic. I mean, it's incredible. They impacted suburbia. They impacted
Yeah.
diapers back in the day, and they're going to massively impact senior housing. And so, I got crushed by the 2008-9 wave. I'm surfing this one, Gabe. Okay.
I
And
hear
so,
you. Learned your
you know,
lesson once. That's all you need.
right, right. And
So
so, I mean, when something's got legs like that, it's you're not fighting against something. You're on the right side of it, I guess is
yeah.
the point.
So we have already passed the 20-minute mark, but before we move on, you have a really successful podcast. A lot of people, I'm a huge proponent of starting a podcast if you feel like it's in your
Oh,
blood.
sure.
But people who are interested, who are listening to this podcast right now, what are the benefits that you've seen of starting your own business in terms of how it's benefited your real estate side of things? Like, how do you feel that your podcast has enhanced the business that you run?
Well, oh my God, so many different ways. I get to meet awesome people like you. I've interviewed some incredible people in the business, authors, gazillionaires, coaches. I bring on my relationship coaches. Every aspect of the business. I learn a ton. I learn more from just interviewing, and so it's been fantastic. And of course, people see that I'm real, that, they see that I'm authentic. I don't have a bunch of airs and try to bullshit people. And so, when I go to raise money, it's pretty easy. I raised money for that assisted living facility in Pittsburgh in 3 days, and so, so that helps with that. People bring me deals. And of course I'm a coach, I do a virtual boot camp pretty much every month and a half. And it's like a whopping $47, and I don't sell anything. So it's kind of a no-brainer if you're interested for, learn my business and 2-day boot camp. But, so I push that. I don't sell advertising or anything like that. I don't push other people's stuff. It's just, my boot camps, and it's been extraordinary. I mean, I mentioned this, maybe I didn't mention this to you, but my student results for my coaching students eclipse everyone else combined. My students own 300,000 multifamily units alone, and every other at tons of senior housing, tons of student housing, tons of mobile home parks, which is more than all the rest of them combined. Big names you'd know. And so, I'm very proud of that.
Yeah,
So, I mean, you can see on the wall behind me here, here's some of the hundreds of thank you cards from my students. You can kind of
that's
see them. It's a
awesome.
mess back there, but, oh, maybe, I don't know if it'll blur. It
Yeah,
won't show
it's
that. We'll
okay.
see. It
Yeah,
might
we
be
can
blurred.
see it.
It might be blurred, but I've got hundreds of thank you cards on the wall behind me.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of that.
It's also just
yeah.
on the coaching side. It's really, I actually just launched my own coaching. We do
Oh,
mostly for off market lead
congratulations.
gen and finding deals and getting your first for the beginners, getting their
Right.
own
Awesome.
deals under contract, and just being able to have an impact on somebody who hasn't been down that road yet, and kind of getting there,
It's
seeing them go through the
fantastic.
process that you'd gone through before, and helping them go around obstacles that you ran into. It's a good
Oh, it's
experience.
fantastic, man. I used to motivate me to have the Lamborghini and the Rolls and the Bentley, all the stupid shit I got. What motivates me now is the student success. I mean, literally
Yeah.
in our closed Facebook group, it's almost a deal every single day. I mean,
Nice,
it's
man. That's
incredible. I
awesome.
mean, and it's kind of got a life of its own. I get goosebumps when I think about it. And your goals. By the way, if you have done your goals, do them again. Get your ass to my link tree and do them again, because your goals evolve. Like I said, it used to be the material stuff, and now and I know this sounds like sales bullshit, but it's not. I get just incredible gratification and satisfaction from the love I get every single day from students whose lives are transformed. And I mean, I literally get it every single day. I get DMs, I get emails, I get cards, I get gifts, and I get hate every day too. No one should have owned 800
It's the
houses.
internet. It's
Yeah,
the
no
internet.
one, no one should own 800 houses. Well, no one should sit in their mom's basement and bitch either. But I get love every day. So, yeah.
Nice, man. Well, I love the energy you bring to this podcast as well.
Thanks.
But with that said, we are past the minute or past the clock, so it
Okay.
is time to push into the quick question round. Are you ready?
You bet.
Let's do it. Starts with education. It could be any form, could be a conference you've gone to, mentorship program you've been a part of, book or vid, movie you've seen, anything. I just need 2 recommendations, one for general life wisdom and then one for real estate.
Go see Tony Robbins. My God. I mean, I spent 23 years with Tony. I could teach his events. I've done them so many times because every year where I'm working on a different part of myself. If you haven't had an opportunity to see him, go see him. You'll thank me. For real estate, get your ass to my boot camp, for God's sakes. It's $47 and I don't sell anything. So go to Rod's links or rodsbootcamp.com. And if you're driving, text the word links to 72345. If you don't love it, I'll give you your $47 back. I don't mean like it. I mean, love it. I'll give you your money back. So no excuses. If you're serious about learning the business, get your ass to my boot camp. What else?
Nice. I like it. Next question is for your younger self. Let's go back to the Rod, who was just getting started back when his mom told him that she made $20,000 and he decided he was going into real estate. Go back to that version. Give him one piece of advice moving forward.
It's the question I ask my podcast guests, okay? Because I don't want them to hear it from me. I want them to hear it from my guests. It's go bigger, faster. It took me 2,000 freaking houses to get that memo. I'm a slow learner. But, if I'd have just been in multifamily in the 08-09 crash, I would have survived it. It was the houses that pulled me down. So, that's why I started my podcast, to tell people, if you're going to buy and hold real estate, for God's sakes, don't do single family, do multifamily. Ask me how I know.
And even that has been echoed across so many different episodes. And I've gone into my story on when I got into self-storage and I bought small facilities thinking that would lessen the risk. It actually augments the risk, because when you run into an issue, you don't have as much cash flow. So yeah, go bigger, faster.
There you go.
A great piece of advice. All right, next question is about the U.S. It's a big place. There is a lot of opportunity out there. Give me the single metro you're most excited about investing in today.
I mean, I hate to go political, but I will. I won't invest in a blue state. I pick your red state and invest in a red state. Life's too fucking short for the regulations, the overtaxation. They're broke. The stupidity that I'm seeing in some of these liberal states. I'm sorry if you're liberal.
No,
yeah, whatever. But you're blind to it. And I've got a blue shirt on too, by the way. So there you go. But anyway, I life's too short for rent controls. It takes 9 months to evict somebody. We could talk an hour about
is there a
that.
particular red state that you're?
I love Texas. I've got a lot of assets in Texas. Of course, I love Florida. If you can get past the cost of insurance, those are 2 favorites. I like the eastern half of Tennessee. I've got assets in Nashville. I like Ohio. I like Indiana, Indianapolis. There's some great markets.
You just mentioned my 2 favorites is Indiana and Texas. I like the Texas Triangle and I like Indianapolis, and that's kind of where I've found home with.
Yeah.
All right. Next question is for, nope, we've already done that one. Next question is about finding deals. It all starts with getting in contact with the seller and penning that purchase agreement. So what is your favorite way to generate leads and find new deals?
I'll give you a ninja trick. If you're going to buy multifamily, connect with a realtor, agent, or broker in whatever geographic submarket you're interested in. Tell them to let you know anytime a multifamily hits their MLS system. Why? Because most agents haven't got a freaking clue how to price a multifamily deal, and you can get phenomenal deals that way. I know I have numerous examples of that. Have them alert you. You'll let them write the contract. You might even spiff them, and that is a serious ninja trick.
Nice. I like that. And it goes both ways actually for they don't know how to underwrite. I do mobile home parks, RV parks,
Well,
self-storage
my
facilities.
buddy Kevin Butt bought a mobile home park that exact same way from a residential agent, and it was a screaming deal because the guy had
Yeah.
no clue how to price it.
Nice. I want to get Kevin Bupp on here because
Oh,
he's
he's one
really,
of my best friends. Just let me know and I'll connect you guys. Okay.
yeah, he was signed up, but he
No,
his
he's
calendar's
raised
big.
hundreds of thousands of dollars for my charity. Yeah, he's a beautiful soul.
Nice. All right. Next question is about AI. It is here to stay, and I suggest people implement it in as many responsible ways as they can in their business. So, how are you using AI in your business today?
I'm probably going to start teaching AI. Okay, so
Nice.
I'm diving in right now. I mean, listen, if you're listening and you aren't embracing AI, huge mistake. Okay, I mean, it's a little sobering. What's the possibilities with AI? It's a little scary, actually, candidly, but there are incredible opportunities. The technology is incredible. We're using it in our marketing. We're using it in our presentations. We're working through the back end right now to cut expenses and improve systems. I'm hell. I got a book. Oh no, that's right. It's audio. The is it the Driven AI Leader or the something AI Leader? It's a fantastic book. But I'm embracing it. I'm gonna learn everything I possibly can about it,
Yeah.
and very possibly start teaching it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's
The
because
easiest hack.
as you teach, you become better. And so I'm being a little selfish. Part of the reason I want to teach it is to become really good at it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I totally understand. I feel like I use it every single day and I'm constantly learning. And I feel like the easiest hack to suggest people if they want to, use AI more efficiently is just to for instance, like Gemini, connect everything to it, connect your calendars, connect your email, connect everything. And then whenever you have something that you would normally go to like Outlook for or I don't know, your task app or whatever, as reminders, just open up Gemini and tell it what you want it to do. Send an email to X.
Mhm.
Remind me that I want to go to this store on this day at this time, and it will just do everything. And then it will remember that when you talk to it later on, and it has everything in context. And so, just connecting apps to the AI that you use is something that not a lot of people do, and it's just the simplest step that you can take. Um,
Agreed.
Anyways, yeah, off the
Agreed.
soapbox. That brings us to the very last question. This is for the listeners. You've given us a lot to think about. I'm sure people will want to reach out, get in contact with you. This is a two-parter. Where can they find you? And then what can they expect when they reach out?
Well, a ton of free. I'll give you the second part. A ton of free information. If you go to rodslinks.com, there's a free book section that's got books that are best in class and they're free. Okay. About the business. I mean, they're fantastic. You know, what to look for when you start a partnership, because this business is a team sport, how to hire a property manager. I mean, these are best in class books. And they're free. So go to rodslinks.com or text the word links to 72345. My boot camp site is there. My goal setting workshop is there. My namesake site is there. If you ping me on any social, I answer every question. So yeah, that's the best place. I appreciate you letting me do that.
Perfect. I'll put that link in the show notes. So if y'all want to reach out, all you got to do is click the little more in the description. It's going to pull down that full description, and in there you can find Rod's links. All right, man. That wraps
Great
it
to
up.
see you, brother. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Absolutely. For everybody who's with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. So if you guys have any questions, reach out to me, Gabe at therealestateinvestingclub.com. If you guys want to support the show, just leave us a review. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week. Keep rocking real estate. And